So the announcement out of Baton Rouge yesterday was spot on, and Chuck said way too familiar.
Yeah, I got an announcement from Scott Woodward, the LSU AD, big game hunter, remember? Because he circled around and got Brian Kelly down from Notre Dame. Scott Woodward, by the way, who also hired Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. Scott Woodward, who's now the guy who hired the two largest buyouts in college football history. He gave an accurate statement yesterday. He says, I will not compromise our pursuit of excellence. We will not lower our standards. This is the best football program in America. Our head coach position is among the best considering our investment, our ability to attract and retain talent, our fans, our institutional and statewide commitment to and love for our football program. Every word true. They are committed to winning at the highest level. So is Penn State and Virginia Tech and Florida and Arkansas and Oklahoma State, and keeping this rolling at Georgia Tech. This is all putting into perspective what a challenge it is if Georgia Tech is able to continue this, to keep in place. I'll say their athletic director to some degree. I'm assuming that they got the guy right again, because they've gotten it right recently to the point that other programs in big conferences want to take their ADs, that they got the head coach right and they can keep him. They can't keep the OC. There are simply too many jobs, and even if the jobs may be at the lower end of the Division I scale, if they hire from a lower level, then you're going to have a G-level program hiring Buster Faulkner, for instance, like John Sumrall getting the call up. So the problem is that everybody, like everything I heard from Scott Woodward, that's all true, but it's true for all of these programs. It also shows me the impossible nature of what Kirby has kept rolling in Athens since all this seismic stuff came down and the NCAA basically abdicated. So we have two really impressive stories. One of them's in Athens, and there's permanence to it. One of them's at Tech, and it's worth watching a lot because there's like 7 balls in the air right now. And you have public declarations at Florida, Oklahoma, places with money, Virginia Tech, Penn State, now LSU, giant programs with fat stacks saying we are committed at the highest level because we have to win a national championship. That's the environment that Tech is sailing through right now.
That's a good point. And to take it back to LSU, right? Like right now we have LSU and Florida open, and it's a wonderful debate of like which job is better. I think they're very similar. That you have the highest of expectations. Probably not realistic, because I want you to think about like LSU's won national titles, so I'm not saying they can't achieve that. They have. But they also had maybe the greatest offense in the history of college football the one year. And they had Nick Saban in another one of those. Now, Les also. Didn't Les win one?
Oh, yeah.
At LSU. Okay. I think Florida's kind of the same way. And I'm not cherry picking this, right? They had 2 of the best coaches college football has probably ever seen. Steve Spurrier won one. Urban Meyer won one. It's a tall order for anybody else who's Jim McElwain, or who's Ron Zook,
Boom,
or who's Boom, or who's Billy Napier. Like to do that, you want it to be the goal. You never want to lower your expectations. But I'm telling you, like you just referenced what Kirby did, it's the same thing that happened to Dabo. He became his own worst enemy, that you want at that level, that it's impossible to sustain at that level. LSU, here are LSU's last 10 or 12 years, Chuck. You ready? This year, already 3 losses. 4 losses, 3 losses, 4 losses, 7 losses, 5 losses, 15-0, 3 losses, 4 losses, 4 losses, 3 losses, 5 losses, 3 losses, 3 losses. It's kind of, that's, for the most part, that's what the program has been now for a decade and a half, with the exception of the stars aligning for the greatest offense of all time. And I want you to reach for those stars and want that again. It's not happening.
Now, if you want to know some particular dysfunction to also be, I don't know, what was it? Sonny Perdue, didn't he get mad at the AJC when they put a headline up one year about the Georgia Tech game? That's child's play. What's going on in Louisiana right now is LSU needs to replace the president of the university. And apparently who's going to make this hire is not Scott Woodward, because he can't be trusted with it. That the governor of the state and the GM, the kid that they brought, he's like 28, who they brought over from Ole Miss for his 3rd stint at LSU, the governor of the state and the GM are going to make the new football hire, and then they're going to fire Scott Woodward and hire a new athletic director. Mm-hmm. So that's Scott Woodward's looking around and like, you're the AD at LSU and you're about to be told who you're going to announce as football coach. Dude, you're fired, okay? Look on the wall, there's writing.
I would also add this, like when I do the Florida LSU comp, that Florida's also in this world too, where you want to be able to sustain, but Urban Meyer won 2 titles, right? Steve could never get back and win another one. Didn't mean he wasn't a great coach.
He won 6 SEC titles in 12 years.
Phenomenal. But here's what Florida has been now for a decade and a half: 4 losses, 5 losses, 7 losses, 4 losses. They did have an 11-2, and those will happen. But then it falls 3 losses, 7 losses, 4 losses, 5 losses, 8 losses, 11-2, 6 losses, 5 losses. It's who you become after a while, because nobody can sustain what Urban did, what Dabo did, what Kirby's doing, what Nick did, and it gets ruined. It's why Phil Fulmer and Tennessee could never get back to their level of dominance. So we have to circle years and years later to Josh Heupel, hoping to get us back to those years.
Auburn undefeated in 04, undefeated in 10, 13 seconds away in 13.
Yep.
4 straight losing seasons, working on 5.
That's it.
How the hell did that happen?
Well, here's how it's happened. Part of it is college football will never be the same. It'll never, like, there was a very small circle of, like, you could get the best recruits just simply by being you.
Oh, yeah. There were decades, and I mean, like, for about 30 years, if it was an SEC caliber player in a high school in Alabama, if he didn't go to Bama, he was going to Auburn. Simple. If he didn't go to Auburn, like, other schools did not even go into the state because they're like, if he's good enough, he's going to one of those schools. That
100%.
is not how it is anymore.
So I think we have to retrain our brains. And you shouldn't settle or lower expectations, but you got to be sort of, at some point, understanding that you're never getting that again. It's just too many factors that have changed in the game.